Gata, on opening the sutra, the Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered, even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's really nice to see you all in the Zendo. I can feel all of the depths of practice that's going on, and thank you. So this afternoon, I thought we would take a little journey through samadhi, the object of our ango, which is soon to come to a close, which is hard to believe. So in case you still haven't got a clue of what you're doing, we'll go over it a little bit more. So you still have time. Okay, we're going to start with the Buddha, and then we're going to go to a Soto text, and then we're going to go to a Rinzai text. And for some crazy reason, I just was like, as I was preparing for this talk, I was like, I just don't want to use notes today. There'll be no note-taking whatsoever. So I have no idea really what this talk is going to be about. So, yeah, we're all on the ride together. Let's see what happens. So that actually, I think the reason why I didn't want to take any notes is I'm very aware that people are not trusting themselves. And you're already Buddha. We're just working on kind of uncovering whatever adventitious dust is in the way, right? So you can totally rely on that. And perhaps not having notes today will give you a chance to see how to just rely on what's arising in your mind stream. Because God knows I'm relying on Buddha. I am totally Buddha-powered this afternoon. Okay, so the first is from our reading packet. This is from In the Buddha's Word, from a collection from the Pali Canon by Bhikkhu Bodhi. And this is section 5, A Mind Unshaken. the Venerable Shariputra said, "When, friend, a monk is thus liberated in mind, even if powerful forms cognizable by the eye come into range of his eye, they do not obsess her mind. Their mind remains uncontaminated, steady, attained to imperturbability, and they contemplate their fall, so the fall of whatever is in their mind. Even if powerful sounds cognizable by the ear, smells cognizable by the nose, flavors cognizable by the tongue, tactile objects cognizable by the body, mental phenomena cognizable by the mind, come into range of your mind. They do not obsess the mind. The mind remains uncontaminated, steady, attained to imperturbability, and contemplates their cessation. Suppose, friend, there were a stone pillar 16 meters long, 8 meters sunk in the ground, and 8 meters above the ground. Then a powerful rainstorm would come from the east. The pillar would not budge, would not shake, would not tremble. Then a powerful rainstorm would come from the north, from the west, from the south. The pillar would not budge, would not shake, would not tremble. Why not? Because of the depth of the base, and because the stone pillar has been deeply planted. So too, for a monk thus liberated in mind, if powerful sense objects come into range, they do not obsess the mind. The mind remains uncontaminated, steady, attained to imperturbability, and contemplates the cessation of what is in the mind, contemplates their fall. So, because of the depth of the base, and because the stone pillar has been deeply planted, this is samadhi. So samadhi is the basis on which we do our work, right? Pretty much everything we do on the cushion is samadhi. Now, remember, what is samadhi? What is our working definition of samadhi? All right. Yes, that's true, but that's the prajna side, right? That is true. And I've been doing that whole thing, right? Clear. Yes. Check. Perfect. So calm, warm-hearted, abiding. Are you practicing such? Yes or no? Yes. All right. Give a left-handed gasho if you're practicing that way. Give a right-handed gasho if you're not. Give a full gasho if you're practicing both. You know, I mean, it takes as long as it takes, right? This practice is like nothing else you do in your life. This is like no other education you have ever had in your life. All the tricks and all the deft and facile way that your mind works in the world, all of the like storms and dramas in your emotional sphere. Honestly, this has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with that. This is way, way, way underneath that, right? Nevertheless, it's not separate from it, right? It's not separate from it, but it's best to really get that practicing samadhi has nothing to do with what emotional state you're in, or how smart you are, or how you can navigate the zendo, or for that matter, how much pain you have in your body, or how much pain you don't have in your body. This has nothing to do with samadhi. I really want you to get that. This is like, if you get this point, you're saving yourself a hell of a lot of heartache. And all of those things, the intellect, the emotions, the physical sensations, they all want to jump in there and say, no, it really has to do with me. It really has to do with me. You have to resolve this, right? The Buddha is saying that anything that comes in through the sense perception, right, does not obsess the mind. Because we are all busy cultivating and resting. Let me repeat. Resting in calm, warm-hearted abiding. Right? It doesn't matter what's being thrown up. This is the way to practice. Now, the mind will come in and say, you're not calm at all. This is a crazy storm going on in there. And you stay with your practice, prefer your practice, and somewhere in there, that sense of calm, warm-hearted abiding is cutting through the drama. You've got to cut through the drama. Your dharma is going to run right through your drama. Do we not have a bumper sticker there, right? I mean, that's perfect. It could be like, my dharma ran over my drama, or I don't know. We could really riff on that. And you know, it's really easy to do here, because you're in such a karmically neutral position. You're actually not creating any negative karma at all while you're doing zazen. Your body isn't doing naughty things because it's in a nice zazen posture. Your mind isn't creating all kinds of negative things intentionally because you have vowed to awaken and you've vowed to stay with your practice. You're preferring the breath. Okay? Speech. And your mouth is shut. You're not saying a word. Right? So you're in like the ideal petri dish for the cultivation of samadhi, for this calm, warm-hearted abiding that cuts through the drama. And each one of us has to learn how to do that for ourselves. The good news is when you're actually like, okay, I'm there, I'm gonna do this, I've got this. It feels really good. It feels really, really good when you're actually doing it. There's so much, we went over this in our workshop, there's so much joy, there's so much contentment, there's so much ease, there's so much of a sense of workability. It's nice. It's really nice, right? So give yourself the gift of really nice. Wouldn't that be lovely? And then, of course, this gift that we're receiving actually is not only for us, but for everyone. And especially now. And there's humans, there's always war. Just remember that. Humans, there's always war. It just is the way it is. I wish it was different, but that's the way it is. Right? So we are in our particular iteration now, and in the future there will be another iteration. As practitioners of the Dharma, we are holding the peace for those that are not in peace right now. We are practicing peace. We're practicing peace for the world, so that the world can remember what this feels like. And this is quite extraordinary that we're in this karmic position, because we could just as easily be in the other karmic position. A few things go awry and we're in the other side, but we're not today. So we have a big, big, big responsibility to practice this calm, warm-hearted abiding for others. Because the depth of the base, and because the stone pillar has been deeply planted, so that is you in this retreat, cultivating the base, planting that bodhisattva vow, that vow to awaken for the sake of all beings, firmly and deeply planted. Having had the teaching that this calm, warm-hearted abiding cuts through all the crap. If you're not cutting through the crap, you're not doing it. I'm sorry to say. What are you doing instead? Obsessing your mind. Going around, I think they call that perseverate or something like that. Going round and round the hamster wheel in your mind. How is that helping the peace of the world? Not to mention your own peace. So now we're going to move from the Buddha's time to Hongzhi. I believe this was a piece that Roshi started with last night, and we're going to continue on with this piece, working with it. The practice of true reality is simply to sit serenely in silent introspection. So, right there, you're sitting in silent introspection. That's already covered, right? The serenely maybe you got to like really dig in there and find that calmness, find that ease. You can do it. It's there. And that is the practice of true reality. That's it. That's the practice of true reality. It's too simple. We don't believe it. But we directly experience it. And we know for ourselves that, yes, this is true. All the cells in our bodies start singing the praises of this silent introspection. And you know of what I speak if you've been sitting for a while. This is not, just nice words. When you have fathomed this, you cannot be turned around by external causes and conditions. So again, this is a repeat of what the Buddha was saying earlier to Shariputra. Now, what's so lovely about Hongji is he puts into words our direct experience of what it's like to be sitting in samadhi. So again, this is a teaching. This is like, oh, what does it mean to be in samadhi? How do I know that I'm in samadhi, right? Well, Hongji's telling us what the experience is. This empty, wide-open mind is subtly and correctly illuminating. So your mind that is not grasping, that is not obsessing, but that it is merely staying with your practice, this practice including the calm, being calm and warm-hearted and just abiding, right? This empty, wide-open mind is subtly and correctly illuminating. So you don't have to worry if you're doing it right or not, right? Just the sitting as this calmness is expressing this subtle, luminous, correctly illuminating mind. Spacious and content. Now, eventually, when you practice enough, you will know in yourselves what this spacious and content is. And you have to get there, because spacious and content is the basis on which you investigate the prajna teachings. No samadhi, no prajna. You got it, but you can't access it because you're too busy thinking your cognitive dualistic mind has got some kind of answer. Not. Spacious and content, without confusion from inner thoughts of grasping, effectively overcome habitual behavior and realize that the self that is not possessed by emotions. Amen. Can I get a witness here? Right? How lovely to realize the self that is not possessed by emotions. It's like really taking this huge weight right off your shoulders. And some of us don't believe that's possible. And that is a delusion that is stopping you from cultivating samadhi. That obstruction has got to go. You must be broad-minded, whole, without relying on others. You know, Isabella's trying to figure out relationships now. And she said something like, well, I really need somebody else so I can feel who I am in the world or something, or feel more complete, or I don't know, something like this. And I was like, girl, that ain't never gonna happen. You could just stop that right now. And why is it never going to happen? Because you're already whole and complete. Silly humans. You must be broad-minded, whole, without relying on others. Right? You're sitting, covering the ground that you're on. Full, complete, lacking nothing, settled. Manifesting peace and contentment. Such upright, independent spirit can begin not to pursue degrading situations. This is great. Let's reread that. Such upright, independent spirit, right, sitting completely absorbed in this samadhi, can begin to not pursue degrading situations. So degrading situations are any kind of samsaric, maladaptive, egoic habit patterns that are like just sort of got their claws in you, and they're just like, you know, all inside of all your like organs, and they're right here, this, that, what about this? This is horrible, oh, I gotta do that, you know, I mean, like the crazies, right? Such upright, independent spirit can begin not to pursue degrading situations. Not only do you not pursue degrading situations, you heal the crazies. You bring the crazies into the peace. The peace is so overwhelmingly all-pervading that the crazies go like, wow, there's nothing to fight against. There's nothing to fight against. I can just take a nap. Right? And of course, that's what happens is they take a nap. And because all they do is take a nap, we need the prajna to come in there and really slay the beasts. But anyway, it's good that they take a nap. We need them to take a nap. You know, for some people I say, you know, you've got an issue, horrible, 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 you're really struggling, give it a kiss, mwah, and you put it on your knee, and you just say, hey, we're all sitting together now. Here we go. Let's just sit together, right? And then like the cat, you know, they start to like purr and fall asleep. It's, you know, it's workable. Okay. Oh, I love how Hongxi, like the next line, he's like saying what I just said. Here you can rest and become clean and pure and lucid. So maybe he's saying it even better than me. Become clean and pure. Okay, Your samsaric, egoic, maladapted, habitual mind that you carry around with you is not having any of that clean and pure stuff. It thinks it's far, far away from that. And lucid, forget about that. That's not even in the room. So, I remember Nelson Mandela saying famously that, what people are really most afraid of is their own brightness, their own grandness, their own purity, your own fundamental cleanliness, nothing to fix. Bright and penetrating, you immediately return in accord and respond to deal with events. So this is now you got up from your seat, right? And all of that clean, pure, good living comes with you and as you into your activity. I mean, you can see how vitally important this is for the transformation of society. Right? Because you are walking around with this sure, certain certainty about fundamental cleanliness and purity as you're encountering other people's minds that are kind of twisted up into some other way of being. And just by encountering you, they're touching their own purity. Everything is unhindered, clouds gracefully floating up to the peaks, the moonlight glitteringly flowing down mountain streams. So this is, I believe, something referencing a poem, but nevertheless, we could say everything is unhindered. The wind gently rustling the late fall leaves. Let's see, what else can we say? Gray skies and white clouds at peace with one another. The entire place is brightly illumined and spiritually transformed. Right? So this spiritually transformed business is it's an inside gig. It comes from the inside out. No other way. You're turning around the seat of your own consciousness. Totally unobstructed and clearly manifesting responsive interaction, like a box and its lid, or two arrow points meeting in midair. So you should hear that and think, oh yeah, I know that. That's one of those chants that we sing that, I don't know what the hell I'm saying, but I remember those words. Continuing, cultivate and nourish yourself to enact maturely and achieve stability. So stability in samadhi. That no matter where you are or what you're doing, you can return to this calm, warm-hearted abiding. I think we'll stop there for this because I want to go into the other piece from the Mumonkan, and it's getting late. So we'll finish up this tomorrow. Oh, okay. So this is case 27. Not mind, not Buddha. The case. A monk asked Nansen, in all earnestness, is there any dharma that has not been preached to the people? Nansen said, there is. And the monk said, what is the dharma that's never been preached to the people? And Nansen said, this is not mind, this is not Buddha, this is not a thing. All right? You can't even touch that until you're super, super comfortable with this calm, warm-hearted, spacious abiding. If you don't stabilize that, then you're always going to be grasping at stuff. It's this, it's that, right? Nansen said, this is not mind, this is not Buddha, and this is not a thing. So, what is this teaching that has never been preached? How will you receive it? Spoiler alert, you're receiving it all the time. Nansen was merely asked a question, and he exhausted all his possessions at once and was reduced to nothing. So his response, this is not mind, this is not Buddha, this is not a thing, was the fully emptying out his toolkit to the max, leaving himself completely with nothing left to give, because he just gave the whole of it. And you, dear one, are giving the whole of it all the time. Just don't recognize it. And I'm not saying it's not a little frustrating for the Zen teacher when you don't realize it. But that's okay. Okay, the verse. Speaking too much degrades virtue. No words are truly effective. Even though the great ocean should change, it can never be communicated to you. Why can it never be communicated to you? Yeah. Somebody has an answer, right? Are you going to communicate that answer? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're practicing that, right? We're practicing that deep love. We're practicing that unconditional compassion. And we're practicing that wisdom in this warm, cozy bath of samadhi, right? So yeah, there's a famous koan about 16 bodhisattvas all taking a bath together and realizing the great way. So the water's been drawn. It's nice and warm and cozy, and you're all in the bath together. right? So just relax, appreciate. Don't play with the obsessions of the mind. Let the calmness and the warm-heartedness and that spacious abiding cut through the drama. And be the peace that the world so desperately needs right now.
Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to